Hey, y'all. Let's just start with a simple idea today, and that is that using templates to and checklists sound like a really great idea. And they sound like this is going to make my life easier. It's going to be less energy. It's going to allow me to get my projects completed faster and with less effort. And you're right. Here's the kicker though. Where do you start so that you get all of these benefits? I submit that you start with assessing your and identifying your recurring responsibilities. For me, that's a key step in preparing to create any template, any checklist. So, tonight, let's talk about areas of responsibility, things that we do over and over again, so that we can narrow down where a template or a checklist will improve our workflow. At some point tonight, I'm going to share with you some of my templates in a different way than what I've shared previously. Often we think of as templates as a form, it's a document, and it is, but it can be more than that. So I'm going to share some templates that I have in one tool that I use, and I'll talk through how I came my thinking, the thought process, the assessment process I went through as I began to make those templates and continue to make templates. So, welcome to the show this evening. I see I got some folks out here. Let me greet you and say hello, hello to you. Oh my goodness. I am so excited this young lady is in the building. I am so excited. Happy New Year, Miss Natalie. Happy New Year to you. So glad to see you in the building. Hello, Yolanda. Glad to see you in the building. Have we heard anything yet about what's happening with the Ravens? Because I've been looking and I haven't seen anything yet. I want to know. I just want to know. Hey, Frank, glad to have you in the building. You're also back here waving at me. Glad to have you here. And I thought I did. Hello, Miss Tora. Glad to have you in the building. So we're talking how we go about getting these areas that we have responsibilities in. And the first thing we're going to do is I'm going to go through the steps pretty quick because this is if we get through these steps quickly, then we get to the other side quickly. So, uh, I see you're listening as you prepare for sunset. I got you, got you. So the first step is to figure out what your recurring areas of responsibilities are. Do an audit, or I call it do an assessment. I don't like the word audit. So you do an assessment, and that really means taking some time, not a lot, and think about what are the things that I do. Pick an area of your life, not every area of your life. Pick a area of your life, whether it's something in your personal life, in your passion project, in your business, in your job. Pick an area of your life and say, what are the recurring responsibilities that I have in this particular area? One thing I am aware of is sometimes we try to take a too big of a project instead of making the project smaller so that we can get to success and achieve a positive outcome and then take on the next piece of it. I'll give you an example. I was talking with someone today, and our goal was to go through a particular part of what the person's responsibilities are and figure out every step of this area of responsibility, what were the manual steps the person was taking, so we could figure out if there was a way to automate any of those steps to reduce the amount of time and energy the person was putting in to complete this one particular part of their responsibilities. We weren't in the conversation 10 minutes, and the person was going off on everything they ever had to do. I was like, "Nope, come back. You went too far. Come on back. Let's stay focused on this one particular area." And that's what I'm suggesting that we each do. Look at one area. And if one area, let's say you say my in my personal life, this area in my personal life, if that area is too big, then bring it down to yet a smaller area, this one part of this area in my personal life. If it's in your career, this one area. I'll give an example of something that I realized today. So, this audit happens all the time. This assessment, you can really do it all the time, but it's really figuring out what are the things you need to do on a recurring basis. So, for me, I caught myself today and I stopped, I did a quick little assessment. Every 3 years, I'm going to come back to that. There's significance in that. Every 3 years, I have to re upload my certification to show what the next date is that it would expire if I don't maintain it. I'm required to complete 60 hours of continuing education every 3 years, and they are broken down into specific categories. I was looking today and I was like, oh my goodness, I did not re upload my certification, even though I had already done the work months ago to complete all of the continuing education. But what I had not done was taken the step to get the certificate with the new date that was signed and uploaded where I needed to upload it. Critical step. Why? People look and want verification that I have this certification. That is something that is a recurring responsibility in for me in a particular part of my life, and it's all the time. When I caught myself, I thought, now you've been doing this for years. And on a recurring basis, one of two things happen in your world, Florence. You either you're looking and you're scrambling because you did not submit all of your continuing education. So now you got to go dig through and find all of the classes you took, all of the projects you completed, all of the things that would qualify for continuing education and submit them. Dumb. Or you do what you did right now. You do all of the certification, but then you don't upload the paperwork that says you've completed the certification and get the new date so people can grab that cert and have it available when they need it. That is an example of a very narrow part of my life. It is a recurring responsibility. And I figured out, say I'm on the slow bus, that this is something that I need to template out. I really need to make a checklist and break it down in small enough chunks so that neither of those extremes happen in this next cycle. That is how I go about when I find these, because now I've done it enough. I've done enough of these, finding these places where I'm forgetting what I'm supposed to do, or forgetting when it needs to be done, or how to do it, or making up a new set of rules every time, that I can catch myself off often when I'm doing that. So this is an example where I did a little baby assessment today, literally today, January 9th, 2026, in an area of responsibility. And then I worked with someone else today to help them go through this assessment in an area of responsibility that they had so that we could get to the next step. Once you have these responsibilities, then it's a matter of categorizing those responsibilities that you've laid out, that you've written down. Doesn't take anything complicated. You can write it in whatever you want to write it in. You can write it on a post-it note, you can write it on an envelope, you can put it in a Microsoft Word document, you can put it in a slide deck, you can put it in a spreadsheet, you can put it in Notion. The tool you put it in is far less important than making the list. The important part is making the list, not what you use to make the list. If that makes sense, put a one in the chat. The next thing you want to do is categorize your areas of responsibility. Now, what do I mean? And I gave you an example in my example that I gave you from today. How often does is this thing happening? Is it every day? Is it daily? Is it monthly? Is it quarterly? Is it yearly? In my case, it's every 3 years. But think about it. If I have to do 60 hours of continuing education over 3 years, that's 20 hours a year, right? So if I break down that 20 hours a year and say, how many do I need to do a month? So that I'm just on a monthly basis, I'm doing a teeny amount, not a lot. Okay. That is an example of something recurring, something that's in a recurring area of responsibility that I have. And for me, the big thing is every 3 years. But if I break it down, I can get to something that's a activity that's monthly. So daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly, every 6 years, whatever the case may be. That's one way to look at it is frequency. Another could be uh, priority or impact. Is it high, medium, or low impact? If it's high impact, it's going to have it has either a great outcome for you. For me, it's this is high impact. Why? It's part of my profession and part of my profession that I really enjoy and I want to keep it. If it's low impact, okay, it may not be high impact. Everything in life is not high impact. Everything in life is not low impact. But another way to categorize these areas is the impact high, medium, low. You can base it on the service. You can base it on is it going to keep your sanity? How about that one? Is if it's something that is going to keep me sane and calm, maybe that's high impact for me. If it's something that's gonna keep someone that I care about in a calm place, maybe that's high impact for me. So you can use the service that it provides, who you're serving, your sanity or your level of emotional stability, your mental health, revenue. Most often people think of revenue or money or finances, but everything in life is not broken down by revenue. It can be relationship. So categorize whatever the area of responsibility is in, I would say, in those two ways. One is frequency, daily, weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly, whatever it is. And then impact, high, medium, low. That's step two. This is the pre work. You're doing all of this pre work, and this doesn't take a long time. Remember, I said I went through this today for me when I recognized what I was doing. You get to a sweet spot, and your sweet spot is something that has high impact and it has high effort. It takes a good bit of effort for you to do it, and the outcome has a high impact, however you define the impact for you. For me, getting the training in the continuing education completed, getting it properly documented and supported, getting the certificate and making sure it's the right one, getting it uploaded where it needs to be uploaded, sending the message that it was done, and then going back after all of that is approved. That's a little bit of high effort because it's multiple steps. I'm giving you a real world, in my world, example of something that I'm experiencing. Yours could be completely different. I want to say this if you've never heard and you haven't been here and you're not a regular part of the Life Tribe, I talk about what I'm going through because I can talk from my own life experience and share with you how I solve these challenges in my own productivity system. And through me sharing the experiences I'm going through, my Strong desire is you recognize something you can take away, a practice, a tip, a process that you can take away and apply similarly in your own situation, because your scenario and my scenario are never going to be exactly the same. So if that makes sense to you, I'm glad about it. So now that you figured out what your sweet spot is, or the area that you want to either create a template for, or create a checklist for, or do both, pick it. I would say pick at least three, because the reason I say pick three, especially if you're getting started, you may start with one and run into a roadblock that you're not quite ready to get past. So if you pick three, you have a you increase your opportunity to get to success and experience a quick win. One of those three is going to work out for you. So that's why I am a strong proponent of picking three that are in your sweet spot that you can start to work on. And then you can decide, as is this a template I want to create? And it would be best for me to create a template from it. Is it a checklist for me to create? In this scenario today, for me with this certification, I need a checklist. I don't need a template. I just simply need a checklist. And I need to put that checklist where it is in my regular checklist library. And I have a recurring activity in my task management system that every month I go through that checklist. That's all I need to do. I figured that out. It's a quick win. It gives me the gains I need. It removes the me trying to remember, and even worse, me forgetting to do something that is important. And so that's the way I think about it. If you have any questions, I've gone pretty quick. This is not a long, drawn out exercise. So if you have questions, go ahead and drop your questions in to chat. And hey, David Hunt, I see you. I see you, friend. I see you. I see you. I see you. I see you. I see you just jumped in. You just made it. Mama, yes, you made it. You made it in. But go ahead, and if you have ideas of things that you want to start right away, feel free to share them with me. I would love to know what they are. Don't put something too personal in there. So, what are some things that, now to get deeper in this idea and going for your wins and having a balance? Some of the things you can consider. This was the example that I had today. What are some projects that keep getting missed? What are some tasks that keep getting missed? What are some reminders? Something comes to mind and say, "Darn, I know I should have done that." Or something you get in email. To me, for me, this certification was, I looked in email and it was like, "Your certification has expired. We don't have your paperwork." I was like, "No, I did everything. Let me put this in and get this darn thing caught up." So once you've done this audit, you've just really sat down and you've gone through it. You've picked out your three things, the responsibilities that you either want to, again, make a checklist for, a template for, or both a checklist and a template. I would love for you to share what that is, and you can share the results with me in school. You can DM me directly in the school community. You can come join us over there if you're not a member of the community. Would love to have you. So I said I would share with you some examples of some templates, and I'm going to share some templates that I have in, excuse me, in my text expansion tool. And this is where I said earlier that templates don't necessarily have to be a document. They don't have to be a form. Most often, especially as we get started, they are a document or a form. But a template can be a branding kit in graphics like Canva or Adobe Express or whatever you use, Photoshop. It can be uh, a form, it can be a Google form, it can be a Microsoft Teams form, it can be virtually anything. It can be the options the way you set up uh, song software or anything. Like anything. It can be the way you lay out an index card to put a recipe on in your house. So templates come in all kinds of formats. They're not one type of format. So I want to show you some and just give you some ideas of things that I've done. And these have come over time that I've built them up and recognized. I've gone through some of these, and you may not be able to read this, but I'll walk through and share some of these. I've got a demo group set up here um, that I've got a whole, these are this first column. Let me hold one. I always forget to turn this on. Come on, promotes. Okay. So this column here, you should recognize this format because it happens in so many, is just a list of groups of things that I've broken text expansion templates into. This middle column with the orange is the actual what I called it and what my little code is for it. And then over here in the right is the actual template itself. So I'm sharing this because I use these a lot, a lot, a lot. As you can tell, I've got lots of them. I even have ones that I've gotten from the community forum that I use, like some Chat GPT ones that I use. So I'm going to go back to my demo. So my demo group, I've got one that says show guest timeline email. So here's one type of template. This is an email that I don't have to write this over and over again. If I wanted to add some other things to it, I've got pop-ups options I can add in here, and I'll show you one of those. I've got links in here. This is a template. Now, you'd say, well, it's an email. You can write an email anytime. Here's the deal. If I just write this word here and it populates the email and I hit the send button, what's faster? Copying and pasting all of this or typing these few letters and hitting enter? You all tell me which would be faster. Uh, Here's another one where I'm doing a confirmation for something. So I'm adding date, I'm doing date math here, saying start today, add 3 days, put in a time, put in all of this other stuff. And these, I didn't do it this way, but I can make this a pop up so I can fill in the topics and it'll fill it in and I send it off. I can put it in a Word document, I can put it in a Google document, I can put it in a text file. Anything that I can write this in, it goes in. And if I want to make this a pop up, I just simply uh, make a single line field and say topic 2, and it'll pop up and ask me to type it in. When I type it in, it'll fill it in. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the show. And I'm going to say it wrong. This is someone that's from Goga's group. I remember, David, you telling me this, but well, have fun wherever you have to run off to. So glad that you came through to say hello. Um, so these are different templates. If I This is another one where I've got some date math going on. So these are template. What I thought about when I did these, and I just pulled some out, is what am I going to? How often am I going to do this? What's the benefit for me? And having consistency. So I don't have to think about it. I just have to type in a few letters, and everything else is done for me. Most of this, what I have in here, I use on a regular basis, right? So that's the reason it's here. Okay. Um, Things, for example, things that my YouTube s- template, I've got it here. I don't have to retype all of this stuff and copy it. When I create a new video, I type a couple of letters, a few letters, more than a couple, and it fills in all of this. When I go to change this, I change it here and it's ready to go. I'm not copying and pasting or looking or doing anything. So those are some examples. If you have questions about what I've done and why I've done it that way, please drop those questions in chat. The main thing is you won't know where you're going to gain benefit if you don't first do some level of assessment. You recognize where you would gain benefit, something that you're missing, something that you're overlooking, a task, a process, some steps, a deliverable, something that's due at a certain time. You won't know if you keep just, oh, and then you're stressed. You add stress to your life, or you miss the date like I did, and then I've got to go do extra work to get the certification back in order. So that is the reason this is important. And before you start creating, I wanted you to start seeing different ways of using templates. I use text expansion templates all the time because we're constantly having to put information someplace. And that's one of the ones that I use, but there are others that I use. Thank you, David. I'm trying. Bo, Boca Bushin, Bushinshida? Boca Bushido. Okay. Hey, Darius. I see. Hey, Darius Kane. I see you. How you doing, friend? Glad to see you dropping in and say hello. I know you from Kirk and also being in the community. So glad to have you drop through this evening. If anyone has questions, I would love to hear your questions. And if you don't have any questions, that's perfectly fine. If this information has been helpful for you, and hit the like button, help it get out to other people. That helps the channel. I would be really appreciative of you just helping to push this information out by hitting the like button. Doesn't cost you anything, and it's actually relatively painless to find that button and click on it. So glad to have everybody here today. I'm going to say have a great weekend. Have a great Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever day you're seeing this. Glad to have you run through. Go find an area of responsibility that you can do an assessment on and you're willing to do an assessment on. And let me know your results over in the school community. And I will see you all in the next live stream, the next video, or somewhere in the school community. Be blessed.